prayer and pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Boyle will lead us.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for this commissioner's court. We thank you for the individuals that are here this morning to speak or whatever they're going to bring to us, Father. Father, we just ask you to continue to look after Atascosa County, guide and protect it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank everyone in attendance this morning. We appreciate y'all coming here, what's happening, what's going on. So our next item on the agenda is public comments. And the first item is Ms. Sharon Root. You're here to discuss the Atascosa Public Retired School Curriculum. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Sharon Root, and I am the current president of the Atascosa McMullen Retired School Personnel, AMRSP, the local chapter of Texas Retired Teachers Association, TRTA. With me today is my first vice president, or our first vice president. She's not just mine. Teresa Garvin, Linda Ritzloff, who is our informative and protective chairman, brings us all information about scams and whatnot. And then our secretary, Ann Smelling. Anybody else here? Okay. So all these good ladies work hard. I prepared a red envelope for each of you with information about our organization and some statistics, some things that I'm hoping you'll get. The goals of AMRSP are to improve the social, economic, educational, and recreational welfare of retired educators in the local community in conjunction with the state TRTA goals. AMRSP was founded in March of 1979, and in the past 44 years of service, we have donated an extraordinary amount of time and talent to the communities in Atascosa County. For example, in the past 5 years, AMRSP members have volunteered 155,434 hours of service to the community, valued at $3,752,176.76. Your red envelope contains more amazing statistics on our activities and outreach programs, like 5,400 books collected and donated to school children to take home as their home in the past 10 years. During this legislative session, AMRSP and TRTA need your help. Annuitants have not received a cost of living adjustment since 2004. We are denied full Social Security benefits because of the windfall elimination provision and the GPO, two very unfair federal laws. No other groups in Texas have been denied a COLA for so long. A cost of living adjustment for TRS annuitants must be approved by the legislature. Therein lies the rub. Please contact the local legislatures, which I gave you envelopes, and no stamps, sorry. I gave you envelopes addressed already to our 5 people. If you would write to them and ask them to approve a COLA. There are bills before the legislature. You know, this one says that, this one says that, they're going to argue it out. But if you would write to them and give your support to the retired teachers of Texas, I would appreciate it. And a lasting increase in my pension and in our pensions would greatly improve the lives of retired school personnel in the county. Currently, in the Texas Teacher Retirement System, TRS, in Atascosa County, there are 988 annuitants, which totals $22.5 million to be used locally. McMullen County has 34 annuitants, $1.5 million. A lot of it is used in Atascosa County businesses. Thank you for your time this morning. Does anybody have any questions?
We're not allowed to speak during
Oh.
Sorry. You're not a great presentation to us, so we can't respond at all.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh well, anyway, if you do, give me a call.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
next public comments is Mr. Randy Schultz, 357 Third Eye Road. On the illegal tire dump. Mr. Schultz, you got 5 minutes, please. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Randy Schultz. I'm here. My address is 3057 Burla Road, Pleasant. I'm here in regards to the illegal and unlawful tire dump at 3315 Burla Road. I have asked for Atascosa County Commissioner, Mr. Gillespie, to place me on Commissioner's Court agenda multiple times. Over the years with no success. Since I'm unable to bring the complaints to y'all through being placed on the agenda, I will leave this information with y'all at this time. In the spring of 2019, I informed County Commissioner, Atascosa County Fire Marshal, Atascosa County Sheriff Department of a tire dump that at that time numbered around 500 tires. I reported to all Atascosa County administration, which called for the enforcement of Texas Administrative Law, Section 328.59, storage of used tires. There was also a pit that old automotive fluids were being dumped into. If Texas law would have been enforced, that problem would not have happened. If Texas law would have been enforced, the problem would have been stopped there. Texas law was not enforced by county administration, thus leading to the catastrophe of a dangerous mountain of 50,000 used tires that was burned last year. Currently, there is an illegal storage of approximately 5,000 used tires. Since 2019, every Atascosa County Commissioner, Atascosa County Fire Marshal, and Sheriff Department are in direct violation of an oath to uphold and enforce Texas law. There are other Texas administrative laws and health safety codes being totally ignored. This is outright lawlessness. Who enforces the enforcers? Who would have thought that many tires dumped illegally in a residentially zoned area would purposefully be ignored, placing lives and property in danger? Why was Texas state law not followed? The county commissioner for this district needs to answer the above questions. County officials that act like they're not acting, county officials are not acting in the best interest of county residents. The disaster was allowed to happen. A few months ago, there was a very large amount of tires, stumps, and timber piled up in downtown Lemon. County officials obviously allowed it. I witnessed the burning of this huge pile of timber. This was a huge fire that reminded me of the Texas A&M Aggie bonfire. There were many Lemon residents at Rick's Ice House parking lot in fear of their property being damaged, being downwind from the massive blaze. The person that made that decision, as stated above, has no decision-making decisions regarding public welfare. By not following Texas law, Mr. Gillespie, a person might think that you could be a domestic terrorist. The FBI definition of a domestic terrorist is as follows: involving acts dangerous to human life that are a violation of the criminal laws of the U.S. or any state, appearing to be intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, influence the policy of government by intimidating or coercion, or affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping, occurring primarily within the territorial jurisdiction of the U.S. Mr. Gillespie cannot be trusted as evidenced by allowing a burning mountain of tires and a burning mountain of wood in residential areas. You have violated your oath to enforce Texas state law and must be removed from office immediately. I request to be placed on the agenda for the next county court meeting in regards to the aforementioned actions. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. If you want to be on the agenda, you need to submit the forms to the office for the next meeting.
Your office?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item is number 4. Janice Ruble will discuss and or take appropriate action concerning approval of contracts between Atascosa County and Pleasant ISD, Evergreen Water Conservation District, Atascosa County Municipal District, number 1, for the May 6, 2020 elections. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for listening.
Good morning, Mr. Rubel.
Good morning. So, we have the contracts for the elections coming up May 6th. Two of them are the original contracts that we've been using for years. And then I had got a little concerned, I talked to Trent about the mud district. Because as of right now, we're only registered voters in the area. And so, he put a little sentence in there about, in case, I mean, we don't want to get stuck with the ballot order. We've got to go ahead and order the ballots because we can't wait till April 6th. That's the last day to register to vote. So,
As far as I know, that's up to them, right?
right.
But we need to still be in the contract basis to handle it.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have ordered the ballots, we've ordered kits and stuff. So we just didn't want to be, the county be stuck with the bill.
Right.
So, somebody.
Now it's going to be put by people.
Yeah. And they may come out, so.
Okay.
I just want y'all to know it was Trent and
Yeah,
Mr. Bill.
we have a clause in there that we're not gonna be stuck with anything, we'll come after them if necessary.
Sure. Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie, second by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Next item is number 5, Constable White, discuss and take appropriate action approving the 2022 racial profiling report for Atascosa County Constable Precinct 1. Good morning, Constable. Good morning, sir. Wonderful.
I'm just here to answer any questions in case you have any. Other than that, I'm just submitting a report.
Motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie. Second by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
Thank you.
Number 6, Constable Richter, discuss and take appropriate action approving the 2022 racial profile report for Atascosa County Constable Precinct 2. Good morning, Constable.
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge. I'm just here to turn in my reports.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen. Second by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Next item is discuss and take appropriate action on the yearly asset forfeiture report for Atascosa County Constable Precinct 2.
It's the same thing. Just turn in my reports.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen. Second by Commissioner Gillespie. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Constable. Number 7, Rudy Van Curren, discuss and take appropriate action, presentation from Dan Crowder, Tyler Ivana, Gonzalez, and Santa Washington on the Primrose Southwest projects precinct 1 and 2. Good morning.
Good morning. I am here to introduce to you Dan Crowley, Tyler Ibarra with SAWS. They have a presentation for you on a large project that's coming in both precincts 1 and 2.
Please. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. As you stated, I'm Tyler Ibarra, project engineer at San Antonio Water System, and I'm here to present the Primrose South Water Main Replacement Project. Y'all should have a packet here, about 11, 12 pages thick, and the slideshow begins on page 4. So, the name of the project is Primrose South Water Main Replacement Project. The next sheet, looks like this. We'll start off with a bit of an outline. Project background, including Paramed history, project location and features, project benefits, expectations during construction, expectations for backlot relocations, Atascosa County right-of-way variance, and request for variance approval. Next slide. So on slide 3, the project background, infrastructure that's currently in the area is a former Paramed infrastructure. It was installed pre-2000. Paramed stands for Bear Metropolitan Water District. In 2012, Paramed was dissolved, and all of the assets and infrastructure was transferred over to SAWS. In 2017, our SAWS Master Planning Department that plans for sustainable growth and evaluates the capacity of infrastructure evaluated this area. And in April 2018, project is located about 7 miles north of Cotuí at the Stacy Road and State Highway 16 intersection. They are both the Oak South subdivision and Primrose Estates subdivisions. Primrose Estates is in precinct 1 of Atascosa County, and Oak South is in precinct 2 of Atascosa County. And then I have on the next slide, I have a printout of an exhibit of the Primrose Estates subdivision that's to the east of State Highway 16. As you can hopefully see with the yellow infrastructure on there, that's the existing 2-inch mains that are there. And we're going to be upsizing all of those mains to 8-inch infrastructure. And the same goes for the Oak South subdivision as well. Same thing goes there. We have a 12-inch feeding into it on the northeast side. But the 2-inch infrastructure is also there, and we're going to be upsizing it with both a 12-inch and 8-inch infrastructure. So that's both sides of State Highway 16 and Precinct 1 and Precinct 2. And then on the next slide, this is the project features. As I mentioned before, the infrastructure that's currently there is a small capacity, 1.5 to 3-inch, and there currently is no fire protection out there. There's no fire hydrants out there. Lines that are less than 6 inches normally don't have fire hydrants on them because they simply can't hold the capacity needed to fight a fire. We propose to increase fire protection in the area with 8 to 12-inch lines. We're planning to install about 22,000 feet within both neighborhoods. We will have new fire hydrants installed at every 600 feet at minimum. New service lines installed for main to meter at the property line. And for homes with meters in backyards, those meters will be relocated to the street. And all streets will be resurfaced with a pavement overlay after all work is complete. So project benefits, these tie into the project features. Like I mentioned, there'll be better fire protection now, and with higher flow and higher fire hydrants installed. Residents and businesses will experience better water volume. Mains will no longer be located in the backyards of Oak South subdivision. That'll help the residents because currently the mains are located in the backyards, and if there's a main break, they need to go onto their private property, which is a disturbance to them. They need to be able to, they may need to open their gates or let us in, and then overall it's just more bothersome for the residents right now as it is. And then meter readers will not need to enter private property to read the meters that are in the backyards. Similar to maintenance calls, the meters are connected to the mains that are in the backyard. So currently our meter readers need to go to the backyards to read the meters. With this project, placing the mains in the right of way, that will no longer be the case. You can just simply see the meter from the right of way, from the county right of way. Once water mains are installed, a new pavement overlay will be installed on all streets, as I mentioned before. There's some, next slide is some of the expectations during construction. Construction duration is expected to be about 18 months long. For this length of main, it's normally about a year, but for the service relocations, that does add a little bit of extra time. Relocating the meter to the front of the property, and also installing the private service within the private property. And construction is expected to begin in August 2023. Most construction work will take place within the county right-of-way. The only expectations are, as I mentioned, the water meters being relocated to the front yards from backyards, and work in easements. And SAWS is coordinating with all of those property owners, both the easements and the residents that will need to have their meters located from the backyard to the front yard. All residents will need to clear any vehicles, obstructions, or debris from the right-of-way prior to start of construction. That's to allow our contractor to have the space needed to do the work. And now, as I mentioned a few times before, for the backlot relocations, you'll see on slide 10 a picture showing what it will be like for the residents that will be having their meters relocated from the backyard to the front yard. So first and foremost, SAWS will pay for this. This will not be at the cost of existing service line to remain. That will be to remain and will not be disturbed by saws. So main point there is if they have certain T's coming off of that service line, serving other structures on that same property, it will continue to be served as it was before. That was a question that we've been asked while we're coordinating with the owner, so I just want to make sure to clarify that. You'll see the existing meters in the backyard, and it'll be placed to the right-of-way, outside the edge of pavement, but within the right-of-way, between the green space of the edge of pavement and the right-of-way line or property line. And then the new private water service reconnection will be installed by SAWS, which is that red line within the private property. And the existing 2-inch line within the backyard will be abandoned, as well as the small portion of private service between that existing main and the existing meter will be cut and capped and abandoned as well. And then lastly, the contractor and certified plumber, the plumber is certified, will be coordinating for all the other possibly septic tank locations and other utilities in the area, which has also been another question that we've been asked by the property owner. So our contractor and certified plumber will coordinate that and make sure that we avoid all of that. With water service reconnections, because it's pressurized, it's easy to navigate through the yard and do bins and T's, whereas sewer, because it's gravity, it takes a lot more work to change directions with sewer, but with water, since it's pressurized, you can meander through things pretty well. And this is all within the private property. And so slide 11 is my next slide, but it is referencing the county right-of-way variance that's on the very first sheet of the packet that y'all have. So on November 10th, 2022, County Commissioner Mark Gillespie was briefed about the proposed project and the need for SAWS to install water mains and water meters in the county right-of-way that was discussed. Our recommendation, SAWS recommendation, is to place the meter within the right-of-way but outside pavement limits, and that will avoid project delays, avoid costs associated with obtaining almost 200 individual easements if we were to place the meters in private property, and avoid property disturbances, including monthly meter reading to all owners, as I mentioned before. And then the request for variance approval. This last slide, slide 12. An important point of clarification is right-of-way does not end at edge of pavement. There is a green space adjacent to edge of pavement that is also included within the right-of-way. SAW standard practice all throughout San Antonio is to place the meter 1 feet outside of the property line, which is what we have shown here. So that's what we propose to do. I think there was a concern that currently meters are being placed in the right-of-way and they're meandering all throughout the right-of-way, and I think it's hard to keep track of where all the private infrastructure is before it finally serves the property that it's meant to serve. That won't be a problem in this situation because we're placing the meter just a foot outside the property line. It's going directly into the property. Another note is that if it were to be placed inside private property, depending on the decorative fence that they have, or maybe a wall or what have you at the property line, sometimes our meter readers won't be able to see that, so they would still, if it were to be placed within private property, have to ask the owner, hey, can I go onto your private property so I can read the meter? So another benefit of this is that the property owners won't be bothered at all to read meters or for maintenance of the mains. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
I had a bunch, but you took care of it, so thank you.
Oh, good. Okay.
This was the original Paradise Farm water system,
Yes, sir.
and so the CCN for that area was taken over by SAWS. Okay. And the current existing lines are basically upgrading everything, the system in the area.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Okay. You covered that with them, so.
Yeah, we've been in touch, and it's been, I hit miss on a few, but our last meeting we had with Mr. Kern was really good. I think we got on the same page. Do you have anything? I know some of it's new for you. The email that you had sent out when we were in College Station at one of our conferences about the material used on the roads when y'all come back, I didn't reply to that because stated in the email, we don't hear back from you, but pretty much we're gonna continue with what we've listed. But then I received another email just not too long ago asking about the material, what we recommend. Are y'all okay with what y'all submitted with like a grade 5 topping rock, and y'all are okay with that? I'm okay with it, I just wanna make sure we're good.
What we want to do is return the road to the exact condition that we find.
Sure.
So if that's the standard we'll meet. We want to make sure that you're happy with it and your constituents are happy with it.
Yes.
So that's not a problem,
Yes.
sir.
No, your email, everything on there was good to me on my end. I was sitting next to Mr. Bowen, and he knew, and he looked at me and said, if you like it, I like it, so, unless you've got change of plans, yes, sir.
How many meters do you expect to place?
So for the relocates, it'll be about 30 meters, and then in total for both subdivisions, it's about 200 meters. And these are existing services where we're either relocating or just simply placing the line where it was before.
Any questions? How deep will those meters be?
It's in a meter box that's about 6 inches below grade.
So when we set meters, we want to set the meter box at grade. The meter sits about 6 to 8 inches below the ground level, so that the meter box, if somebody's mowing, is not hit by a mower, or if something's going to scrape it, it's not going to hit the meter box. And again, the meter's a little deeper than that, so that's protected. And that's routine, customary, is how that's done. All right, thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Next item is number 8, current discuss take approval action concerning approval of the various requests from Saws to place new water meters in the county right of way for the Primrose South Oaks project in precincts 1 and 2.
Yes, sir. As y'all will remember, we have a policy here in the county where we do not allow water meters in the county right of way. Our policy is that it be placed on private property. SAWS is requesting a variance to this for this project in general, and they just very wonderfully explain all the reasons why. So they're just asking for that variance letter.
And it was explained to me previously in our last meeting, and of course, we've got to bring it to court for those thoughts and approval, but after observing what they have in it at the location of where the properties are, it's, I recommend we give the variance on this because of it being so many, and the scope of work is just gonna be so much easier on him and us and the landowners if we allow it. And as he stated, it's 12 inches from the property line, so it's really out of the way of anyone.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the variance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie, second by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. I think we've had discussion, we're going to pass on number 9 and reschedule another meeting. Number 10, Bridget Van Curran, discuss and take appropriate action changing the size of subdivision highlights from 18 to 24 inches to 24 by 36 inches as in section 3.5 of the Atascosa County subdivision ordinance. Ms. Van Curran.
Yes, sir. I was under the impression that the standard for Mylars to be recorded in the county clerk's office was 24 by 36, and it was brought to my attention that that's not what our current subdivision ordinance states. So after conferring with the county clerk and getting her blessing, they would really like to see the standard at 24 by 36.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie. Second. Second by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Number 11, discuss and take appropriate action concerning adopting a resolution giving consent to the filing of legislation creating municipal utility district for a tax exhibit 1,217 acres, 7,169 acres located in precinct 1. We need to have a motion to approve the county judge to sign, Commissioner sign also. Ms. Van Curran?
Yes, sir. So you will see a copy of the resolution in your packets, as well as the 2 different exhibits that show the complete 1,217
made by Commissioner Gillespie, seconded by Commissioner Boland. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff Sergeant, discussion take appropriate action concerning personnel, new employee Paul and Sarah, position deputy sheriff, pay rate tier 2, $52,988.57 annually, 171 fluctuating hours, 175 holiday pay, $120 uniform allowance, 90-day county probation, 1 year agency probation, salary budget area 012-440-410. Physical drug test is pending, start date will be April 1st, 2023. Sheriff.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm hiring Paul and Sarah as a deputy sheriff. Salary and benefits stated in the agenda. Physical and drug test are pending results, and contingent on that, we'll start on April 1st, 2023.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis. Second by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 13, Sheriff's salary, special take appropriate action to approve payment of $880.95 to landowner Patrick Maloney for property damage during the law enforcement pursuit under section 683.015F of the Texas Transportation Code. Sheriff?
Yes, this was another law enforcement pursuit that resulted in private property fence damage belonging to Mr. Patrick Maloney on Atascosa Road. And he's submitted appropriate receipts asking for reimbursement. I've approved $880.95.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis. Second by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Number 14, Sheriff's salary. Discuss and take appropriate action to approve payment of $1,200 to landowner Brad Boyd for property damage during law enforcement pursuit under section 683.015F of the Texas Transportation Code. Sheriff?
Yes, I believe this is a law enforcement pursuit that originated in either Frio or Medina County on Interstate 35, came up to Lido, and out 3175 to a county road, and they ran through a gate. And Mr. Boyd has submitted appropriate receipts for the repair, and I've approved the amount of $1,200 to be paid to Mr. Boyd.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis. Second by Commissioner Boland. Is there any further discussion?
Sheriff, on the quote, it has 1,300, but they approved 1,200. That's good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Keep up the good work. Number 15, Chris Crosswell discuss and take appropriate action concerning approval of the Commissioner's Court minutes for January 2023. Mr. Crosswell?
Yes, I sent the minutes out to y'all, and I heard from some of y'all, so I would like for y'all to approve the minutes for January.
Okay. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Pettis. Second. Second by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 16, Commissioner Riley, discuss and take appropriate action concerning approving a permit request for road war 2755 County Road 101 for Jenny Barnett and Precinct 4. Commissioner?
Yes, this would be a, right intersection, 101 and 407. So I'm looking to pull over and check it out, so it's necessary.
Motion made by Commissioner Riley.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Boland. Is there any further discussion?
No, this is because
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. The next six positions are all the same, and I understand this due to increase. So, Commissioner Riley, discuss and take appropriate action concerning personnel. Existing employee James Boyd, Robert Caraway, Jason Campion, Jason Escamilla, Louis Fabian, County Courthouse replica prepared by REG Architect and Development. What this is, gentlemen, is we know that the log cabin, the replica of the old original courthouse, it is a replica. It's got some serious damage to it, tree fell on it, knocked a hole in the roof. Termites have eaten it up, it's in bad shape. So we've had somebody come down and look at it, give us an opinion on possibly rebuilding it or demolition, whatever would be. And this report, it basically states that it's beyond repair. And to take it apart and put it back together would be not even feasible, anywhere close to the numbers that the construction doing. His recommendation is to demo it. And so the next item would be discuss, take appropriate action to approve and accept the quote for forced demolition. You know what, let me stop. Let's accept the first report, and then we'll go to the first one. Is there any discussion on that? Report. Second motion by Commissioner Gillespie and seconded by Commissioner Bowen to approve the report. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. And the next item on the same topic, there's a quote provided by Flores Demolition Disposal for the historic replica courthouse, and I believe the quote is $8,000. That does include removal of the concrete slab, the sidewalk, and a couple of trees around it. Is there any discussion on this?
All the electronic equipment and everything has been moved out.
Okay, so you got your stuff out? Sheriff, did your stuff been removed? Okay. There was quite a bit of things in the both sides over there, so we,
It still has a gas line that's probably a week away from being capped off.
that's correct. Yeah, the electricity's been turned off and meter's been removed on it.
Move for approval and accepting the quote.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Riley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Also want for the record that we did present this to the Atascosa County Historic Commission, and they did approval of the demolition. So hopefully there's no heartburn over that. Number 19, myself, discuss, take appropriate action to approve invoices, rate for autopsy transportation for surrounding counties. Now, sitting down with different ones, the auditor and Mr. Rowell and myself, we came up with a rate of $100 an hour with a 4-hour minimum, and each additional hour would be $100 with a mileage rate of $1.10 per mile round trip. That means from the time they leave here to the time they get the autopsy body to wherever it needs to be, the medical examiner, and come back, or if there needs to be any other transportation, it would be $100 an hour plus $1.10 a mile.
I move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Number 20, discuss or take appropriate action to approve moving the vacant administrative assistant position with a salary of $39,991.71 with the benefits from the Veterans Office to Rural Development. Gentlemen, we have a vacancy at the Veterans Office, and I think we decided a couple meetings ago that it did not need to be replaced. In visiting with what we have a situation over here in the Rural Development, we have sitting there talking to Miss Van Curran the other day. She had 5 phone calls and 2 people walk in, and definitely needs some help in that office to get things done. So we've talked about this, about moving it over. I've run it past the auditor, and she had no problem with it.
Move for approval.
Motion made for approval,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. First, motion made by Commissioner Gillespie, seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? The only thing is I want to say is, Ms. Burrows said when she got back here, she would have all the stuff for the next meeting to move the categorize into adoption. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. And we need to give you an effective date too. So we need to make an effective date on this. Do we want to do it April 1?
When's our next court?
Or the 27th? We'll put it on there for the 27th? Make it
If we
that
can do
point?
the money movement and it's passed, then
And
I
then
think we can move right into,
Okay, let's give her time to interview to put somebody on the, okay.
So I can start interviewing and put someone on the 27th if I
I'm good with that. What are y'all, okay with that?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Item number 21, myself, discuss or take appropriate action to assigning the Journey Unit Number 1 vehicle to the Veterans Office. What we have is still a discussion from the recommendation from the Veterans Advisory Board that they needed a vehicle over there so they wouldn't have to chase one down every time. I still haven't done the inspection of Journey Unit 1, and I'll try to get over there today to get it done. But I'd like to be able to assign that unit to them so they don't have to come check it out every time and go bring keys back every time and go from there. So, any just
Move for approval.
motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Number 22, discuss or take appropriate action, resolution to authorize submission of application to include civil rights policies for the 2023-2024 Texas CDBG grant community development competition. This is required by the grant for us to submit this for approval. Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Number 23, myself, discuss or take appropriate action on resolution authorizing signatures for the 2023-2024 application and future grants administration through the Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA, Go Grants Online. This is also housekeeping item we need to take care of.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 24, myself, discuss or take appropriate action on resolution authorizing the county judge to enter into an interlocal agreement with El Oso Water Supply Corporation. This is in reference to the grant that we're working on for them for the engineering services that we had at the last meeting.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Boy, I like this. Number 25, myself, discuss or take appropriate action to replace Rusty Pacifica as a record management officer for non-elected government officials in Atascosa County and appoint Blake Staton to replace him as Atascosa County Record Management Officer according to our records management law. What it is Judge Pacifica got elected JP, and we need to replace him as our record management. We've talked about it, and I think that would be a perfect choice in my opinion. I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I'm not going to vote on this.
Commissioner Gillespie abstained. Motion passes 3-1. Three with one abstention, excuse me. Number 26, discuss or take appropriate action, approve a memorandum of understanding for the Central Texas Juvenile Board to approve additional bed space to be approved by Atascosa County Attorney and direct the county judge to sign. Did you get a copy of that yet? Okay. What this is had a meeting last week with the Central Texas Juvenile Board president and vice president. They came down, they toured our facility. Evidently, that 44 county board gets substantial money and they run out of bed space for juveniles. They want to contract with us for $50,000 for approximately 180 days, which works out to $251 a day for bed space guaranteed for one bed. I've talked to Ms. Martinez. We've walked through the facility. We've looked around. We can assign the one female we have to a certain spot, and it'll open up another 12-pod space that we have at the current time, but we will guarantee them one bed space. When this is up, they'll probably come back do it again. So we could get $100,000 this year for that one bed space. Whether they have somebody in it or not, it's guaranteed pay.
Move for approval.
Woo, I like that. Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Riley. Any further discussion?
I would make it in the motion with the acceptance of county attorney's approval.
That's right, okay. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
On that, real quick, on a clarification of a lot of this, in the meeting, they had stated they want a guarantee of a bed to be open. What that means is if we're I'm just throwing numbers, right? If there's 8 people, that 8th bed is open, they need it, it's theirs, okay? But if one of our kids go out of the office and they're not needed in that 7th bed, they move that 8th bed that was theirs originally to that 7th bed, and now it opens them up another one. So they could potentially have all of our beds at some point.
Yeah, but they will pay for each slot. They won't just,
Right.
it's just guaranteed they can
Sure.
bring that. It's actually a pretty good deal when we looked into it. And that's on short-term facility. On the long-term, I think we have 7 long-term paying right now. None of them are our county kids, so
Right.
it's,
Yeah,
things look
250 a
good.
day, that's good.
Okay, the next thing is items number 27 through 35. What these are policies and procedures that the committee has worked on for the last 45 days and, or so. And, but this is the stuff that we put in the workshop last week and discussed, went through all those things last Monday. We've corrected it and made adjustments to what the committee had, and we're bringing them forward now for approval. We're gonna take each one individually. Item number 27, myself, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approval of updated pets and animals in the workplace policy and added to the Atascosa County Personnel Manual effective April 1st.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 28, myself, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approving updated medical benefits waiting period guidelines in the Atascosa County Personnel Manual, effective date April 1st, 2023. What this is saying there will be no more 60-day waiting, there will be a 60-day waiting period for everyone, right? That's what we decided?
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, right now it's lifted.
That's
April
correct.
1st, we're gonna go to 60.
Right, and what it is we had exempted some people before, but now that everybody will be in the same playing field, that'll begin on April 1st. Any questions at all? Okay,
There's at least a 30-day, but a minimum of 60 days. So it could be, if it's on the first day of the month, it could be just a 30-day. But if it's other than the first of the month, then it could be up to a 60 day.
right, as a policy, correct.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 29, discuss or take appropriate action to update the county's COVID policy and quarantine guidelines to the Atascosa County Personnel Manual, effective date April 1st, 2023.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 30, discuss or take appropriate action concerning to approval and remove the free gym membership benefit for the county employees effective April 1st, 2023. What this is the county was paying for membership for employees, and we got down to where we qualified the numbers, and it was like 3 people or 6 people. There's very few people that were participating in this policy anymore, and we were getting hit with a substantial bill from the 5 gyms in the county. Not their fault, they did the right thing, but we got to come back to where it's normal.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 31, discuss or take appropriate action to approve adding the proposed department head policy to Atascosa County Personnel Manual, effective date April 1st, 2023.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 32, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approving the proposed work from home policy and add it to the Atascosa County Personnel Manual, effective date April 1st, 2023. What this is, there'll be no more working from home and being paid for it.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 33, discuss or take appropriate action concerning approving updated employee medical examinations policy and added to the Atascosa County Personnel Manual, effective date April 1st, 2023. Any questions on this one?
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen,
This was the, I'll second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion?
This is the one with the part-time, temporary part-time, and full-time, all, okay.
All
yes.
getting drug tested and medical exam, right. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 34, discuss or take appropriate action to approve and accept time and attendance policy to the Atascosa County Personnel Manual. Effective date would be April 1st, 2023.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Number 35, discuss or take appropriate action to approve and accept updated work and office hours policy in the Atascosa County Personnel Manual. Effective date would be April 1st, 2023. What this is for the department heads. We do not control elected officials' office hours or their particular manual. It's up to them to handle their stuff. But the county blanket manual and the office hours are basically 8 to 5, with leaving the department head a choice of working through lunch with rotated schedule or closing from 12 to 1.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gillespie. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, gentlemen, on the items number 27 through 35, these are the ones that we've passed now unanimously. We will be sending all this stuff out to the department heads by the end of the week. And it will all go to all the elected officials via email and department heads via email. The department heads will be requested to come into the office sometime next week, and we will sit down with them and go over each department head policy with them and explain to them what all these add up to and what they amount to, and they will sign and acknowledge receipt of it. We're not requiring the elected officials because we can't, but we are requiring the department heads.
And on that, when you're meeting with them, are you having your committee that you had meet with them as well, just yourself?
We can. I was just gonna have myself or Tabitha, whoever's in the office, sit down with them. It's pretty black and white now, but it's up to you.
I know, I just wanna make sure you got coverage if you need
Yeah,
it.
why don't we do that? If there's a question on them, then we can have it set up, okay? Okay, item number 36, update and take appropriate action concerning judge, commissioners, and other county elected officials, training course certifications, record any hours and certificates into Commissioners Court's minutes, and the documents not related to education needing to be filled in the court records. Ms. Loretta Holly has an excess of 10 educational training hours from 2021 that carried into 2022. She has completed 14 3/4 hours of educational training at the 88th Annual Tax Assessor Collectors Association Conference. Ms. Holly has completed 13 hours of educational training at the 2022 V.G. Young Institute for Tax Collectors. She also acquired a total of 37 3/4 educational training hours in 2022. Also, myself has completed 9 hours of educational training at the 88th V.G. Young School for County Commissioners Court in February 2023. Commissioner Mark Bowen successfully completed 20.5 hours of educational training in the 2023 seminar for newly elected judges and county commissioners at V.G. Young Institute of County Government in College Station. Commissioner Mark Bowen also successfully completed the course of training of the Texas Open Meetings Act that satisfied the legal requirements of Government Code Section 551.005 on March 7th, 2023. These will all be entered into the minutes. No action will be taken. You know what? We do need to take action to it in a minute. I apologize.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Gillespie,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bowen. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Rowell, do you know of anything for an executive session? Does any commissioner know of anything for executive session? Okay. We will not go into executive session and will remain in open session. And the next item will be number 38, comments from commissioners. No action be taken. Anybody have any comments or updates or questions? I do want to advise the court and everyone that the passing of Judge Elaine Franklin from McMullen County, I think she was judge 3 or 4 terms down there. She's 97 years old. She had a great life and was pretty good shape up for a while, so she's gonna be missed. Okay, if there's no other discussion, our next meeting will be Monday, March the 27th, 2023, and we're